part 3, from the Garden of Eden to the Mount Sianai covenant until now, the restoration to Yah. Let's go. Now, in the last one, we learned that the Sabbath is equal to the new thing in Jeremiah 31:22. And on the Sabbath, the woman creates a circle of holiness around her family, and she accompanies the household with a spiritual canopy, removing the reproach on that day and the reproach of the week of labor and the sins of her youth are set aside. And the house of Jacob stands as a queen, restored to the dignity of Sinai, and back to the dignity that we had before shame came on us in the garden. The Most High Yah always wanted to restore us. We are the ones that chose to live like the world. Well, it's time for us to come up out of that. It's time for us to live anew. Let's learn. Exodus 31:16. 31:16-17, the eternal covenant. The children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath, observe the Sabbath throughout their generations as a perpetual covenant. It is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever. The memorial of creation. The Sabbath reminds us that the Most High Yah is the creator. By keeping it, the house of Jacob rejects the authority of any man-made system or the rule of Genesis 3:16. The soul's return. The text says that on the seventh day he rested and was refreshed. Vanya Ifash. And I hope I'm saying that right. This root word nafash, soul, implies that the soul is returned. For the house of Jacob, the Sabbath is the weekly renewal of the days of old. How this links to your vision. You mentioned that the job for the women is to court the man back to Yah's law. The Sabbath is the bait and the reward. The atmosphere. The woman prepares the home, making the law, the Torah, beautiful and desirable. And the results. By creating this space of peace, she courts the children of Israel, the men. She courts the children of Israel, the men. Let me say it again. She courts the children of Israel, the men, away from the world and back to the study of the Most High Yah's word and the sanctification of his name, setting his name apart. Summary table, the Sabbath authority feature. The role of the house of Jacob, the spiritual results. Lighten the Sabbath candles, bringing Yah's presence into the home. The sign, observing the eternal sign. Declaring the Most High Yah as the only master, the return. Preparing the table, Yah. Preparing the table, and you can find that in, I did a class about this already, about us preparing the table to teach. And courting the family back to the covenant. Would you like to look at Proverbs 31, the woman of valor, passage to see how the house of Jacob is perfected by this, y'all? Let's go. In the stone addition to not. Proverbs 31:10-31. The Esat Sha'el provides the ultimate portrait of the house of Jacob operating under Yah's authority rather than the rule of man. The power of Chai Yao valor, strength. I hope that I am saying that right. I cannot wait till the Most High Yah bring us back to our original language. The word chayel, valor. The word chayel, valor, is a military term for strength and efficiency. You see that, y'all? You see that, right? It's a military term. The word chayal, valor, is a military term for strength and efficiency. This woman is not a passive figure. She is the general of her home. Verses 11. The heart of her husband trusts in her. She has proven herself so aligned with Yah's law that the children of Israel, can safely surrender the management of the household spiritual and physical essence to her. In verse 17, she girds her loins with the strength and makes her armor vigorous. This is a physical proof of her job to maintain the home's integrity. Courting the men back, Jeremiah 31 connection. You mentioned the women courting the men back to the laws. Proverbs 31 shows exactly how this is manifested. Verses 23. Her husband is known in the gates where he sits among the elders of the land. The authority link, he is respected at the gates, the place of the law and judgment, because she has managed the home so efficiently. Her spiritual authority at home provides him the foundation to be a leader in the Torah. By her actions, she courts him into a life of holiness, removing the reproach of food and clothing. Recall Isaiah 41, where the woman cried, "We will eat our own bread and wear our own clothes." In Proverbs 31, the woman has already achieved this independence from the curse of dependency. Verses 14 and 21. She brings her food from afar, and her whole house is clothed in scarlet. The spiritual shift. She is no longer begging for a man's covering out of shame. Instead, she is so empowered by the Most High Yah that she proves the covering for her. She provides, the covering for her entire family. I'm going to read that again, y'all. The spiritual shift. She is no longer begging for a man's covering out of shame. Instead, she is so empowered by the Most High Yah that she provides the covering for her entire family. The fear of the Most High Yah versus the rule of man. Let's examine this. I pray that this is edifying to you, and I pray that you are finding the information that you have been seeking for. The fear of the Most High Yah versus the rule of man. The climax of the passage confirms your point about restorations of Yah's authority. Proverbs 31 and 30. Grace is false and beauty is vain, but a woman who fears the Most High Yah, she shall be praised. The return to Sinai. By fearing the Most High Yah, she bypasses the punishment of Eve and the desire for the man and places her desire towards the Creator. The result, she is not ruled by her husband's whim, but is praised by him and by the community because she is the representative of Yah's authority in the physical world. The full cycle of restoration. Sinai, spoken to first as the foundation. Exodus 19 and 3. The new thing initiates the return of the nations. Jeremiah 31 and 22. The cleansing, washing away the filth of the curse. Isaiah 4 and 4. The reality, living as a woman of valor under Yah's law. Proverbs 31. Would you like to explore the mother of King Luma as the part of Proverbs 31, specifically using her authority to teach and correct the king, showing the house of Jacob's role as the primary educator? Why, yes, I would. And like I did the video the other day, and I did the video today showing all the things that the Most High Yah used the daughters of Zion, the women, Deborah, all of them to do. This shows you that the Most High Yah had given us more power, but the church taught us to fall out of agreement with the power that Yah gave us and worship at the feet of men. In the stone edition to not, the opening of Proverbs 31 provides the smoking gun for the authority of the house of Jacob, the women. Before the description of the woman of valor, we see the mother of King Lemuel, often identified as Bathsheba, teaching Solomon, exercise her role as the primary spiritual educator. Let's read this again. The smoking gun is this. In the stone edition to not, the opening of Proverbs 31 provides the smoking gun for the authority of the house of Jacob, the women. Before the description of the house of valor, we see the mother of King Lemuel, often identified as Bathsheba, teaching Solomon, exercising her role as the primary spiritual educator. The burden of the mother. Proverbs 31, 1 through 2. The words of King Lemuel, the burden with which his mother disciplined him. What, my son, and what the son of my womb, and what the son of my vows. The authority to discipline. She does not ask permission to speak. She speaks with the authority of the house of Jacob. She calls him the son of my vows, reminding him that his very existence is tied to her covenantal relationship with the Most High Yah. The job of education. This fulfills the Melachas commentary on Exodus 19:3, which explains that the women are told the Torah first because they are the ones who bend the children towards the law. Correcting the king, the men. The mother specifically warns the kings against the two things that historically led children of Israel astray. Verse 3. Do not give your strength to women, nor your ways to that which destroy kings. She warns him against the waywardness that destroys the leadership of men. She warns against strong drink, lest he forget the law, the Torah, and pervert the judgment of any of the afflicted. Do y'all see that? Let's read it again. The mother specifically warns the king against the two things that historically led the children of Israel astray, the men. The verse, do not give your strength to women, nor your ways to which that destroys kings. She warns him against the waywardness, and we just got through talking about the waywardness, the worship of men. We being wayward, you're worshiping at the feet of men. That destroys the leaderships of men when you worshiping men. And she warns against strong drink, lest he forget the law, the Torah, and pervert the judgment of any of the afflicted. We cannot be wayward in this. We have to stick to Yah only, y'all. We cannot. We shall not stop until the Most High Yah is in authority in the whole world. We cannot allow them to do this anymore. So let's warn our children. Let's warn our men to let Yah be their only authority. Yah's Torah, Yah's law, and don't forget it. Don't pervert it. Don't be doing sacrifices. Don't be worshiping at the feet of men. Don't be taking bribes. And don't be doing anything that contradicts the laws of Yah. Oppression, lying, stealing, and killing. Don't be doing it. The significance here, the house of Jacob is the one who remembers the law when the king, the man, is in danger of forgetting it. She is the guardian of the Torah. She is the guardian of the Torah in the heart of the home. The restoration of Yah's authority. By teaching the king how to rule justly, she is bringing the authority of Yah back into the government. The new thing. This is the Jeremiah 31:22 new thing in action. The woman is encompassing the man with wisdom and correction to ensure he stays aligned with the Most High Yah's law, with the Creator Yah's laws. That is our rule. That's what we're supposed to be doing. We use these mouths to push the people back to the law, and the men enforce it. Okay? And they took that away from us, and they got us worshiping like the other nations. They got us worshiping like the other nations, and we need to stop it. See, Lucifer wanted his throne raised above the Most High Yah. He wanted to be all authority. He wanted everything done for him. He wanted it all to be about him. And the way he did that is he sent his children down here to teach us to make it about him. And we did that. And we are doing that right now. We're worshiping at the feet of Lucifer, who is Lucifer JC. We're worshiping at the foot of a dead man. A man who only got the keys to hell. Who has no authority to save. He cannot save. He even tells you he cannot save. He says, dead in Christ. If you be with me, you're going to be dead. That's what that means. That's what that translates to. The dead in Christ means when you're in me, you're dead. When you follow the Torah, you get life. You will have a life abundance. You will be happy. That's why the Most High Yah tells you in Deuteronomy 30, choose this day. Choose life or death. I'm going to lay both them. I'm going to lay it before you. And JC tells you he is death. And the Most High Yah tells you he is life. He is the one with eternity. And JC tells you he dies. And that when you are in his name, you're dead. The dead in Christ. Remember that. Lucifer lost his place. And he's in Psalms 82. He's going to die like a man. Do you want to die like a man? Or do you want to live? Then you have to sanctify y'all's names, y'all's laws, y'all's statutes, and y'all's commandments. Now, let's keep going. By teaching the king how to rule justly, she is bringing the authority of the Most High Yah back into the government. The new thing. This is the Jeremiah 31:22 new thing in action. The woman is encompassing the man with wisdom and correction to ensure he stays aligned with the Most High Yah's laws. And then the curse. She is no longer just a subject under the king. She is the teacher of the king. This effectively bypasses the Genesis 3:16 curse because her wisdom comes directly from her fear of the Most High. Yah, we put Yah first. Yah is our husband. Yah is our warrior. Yah is our everything. Return to the cities of yours. When you mention that the daughters of Zion returned to the cities, this is the final result of this education. When the mothers of the house of Jacob raised Lemuels, those who belong to the Most High Yah, the entire nation is restored. The city gates, because of her teaching, the man can sit in the gates, Proverbs 31:23, and judge by Yah's standard. So we don't judge by man's standard. We don't judge by the laws of the land. We judge by the laws of the Torah. Summary of the educator's role. Sinai. The house of Jacob receives soft word to teach the children. Proverbs 31. The house of Jacob uses the word to correct, and guide the kings of Israel. Results. The reproach is removed because the next generation is holy to the Most High Yah. We're set apart to the Most High Yah. Would you like to conclude by looking at Malachi 3:24 and 46 to see how the hearts of the fathers are turned back to the children through the restoration of the family? Yes, I would. In the Stone edition Tanakh, the final words of the prophets in Malachi provides the seal on the entire journey. It brings the old days of Sinai with the new things of the future restoration, showing that the family unit led by the spiritual insight of the house of Jacob is the key to avoiding destruction. Malachi 3:24. In my book is 4 and 6. The ultimate healing. And he shall turn the hearts of the fathers to the children, and the hearts of the children of the father to their fathers, lest I will come and smite the earth with other destruction. The restoration of order. This turning of the hearts is the final job. When the house of Jacob, the women, fulfills the role of primary educator, as seen with Lemuel's mother, and encompasses the man with Yah's law, as seen in Jeremiah, the result is a healed home. The link to Sinai. Just before this verse, Malachi says, "Remember the Torah of Moses, my servant, which I commanded him in Horeb in Sinai." The turning of the hearts is a returning to the Sinai level authority, where the family was the center of the covenant. Where the family was the center of the covenant. The turning the hearts is a return to the Sinai level authority, where the family was the center of the covenant. Miriam and Deborah's example of the house of Jacob in power. To see how this looked in practice, we compare Miriam and Deborah, both whom exercised authority that bypassed the rule of man and pointed directly to Yah. Okay, let's start. Miriam, the architect of the home and the nation. The job, according to the Midrash commentary, often cited in the Stone edition, is it was Miriam who courted her father Amram to return to her mother after he separated from her due to Pharaoh's decrees. The results, because of her initiative, Moses was born. The authority in Micah 6:4. The Most High Yah says, I sent before you Moses, Aaron, and Miriam. She was not an assistant. She was a leader of the women, teaching them the song of the sea and maintaining the spiritual morale and the well of Miriam during the wilderness. Deborah, the mother in Israel. The job. Deborah did not call herself a queen or a warrior, though she judged the nation. She called herself a mother in Israel. Judges 5:7. The new thing. When the men like Barak were hesitated to act under Yah's authority, Deborah took the lead. She encompassed the situation, providing the strategy and the spiritual courage, correcting the man. She told Baruch exactly what Yah commanded. Her authority came from her fear of the Most High Yah and her sitting under the palm tree, a symbol of Torah judgment, not from a human husband's permission. Feature: Miriam, the foundation; Deborah, the judgment. Authority: the guardian of the future of Moses, judge and prophetess for the nations. Role at Sinai: the leader of the house of Jacob, restorer of the laws of Sinai. The job: ensuring the birth and the survival of the people, courting the men back to battle for the Most High Yah. The result: the nation is redeemed from Egypt. The land has rested for 40 years. Conclusions: bringing the authority back. The new thing mentioned in Jeremiah 31 is the realization that the house of Jacob is not a secondary thought. From the first address at Sinai to the mother of Israel, Deborah, and the woman of valor, the women are tasked with guarding the law when the men forget, removing the reproach by speaking Yah's name, turning the hearts of the children to the covenant. By doing this job, the house of Jacob brings the world back to the state it was before the rule of Genesis 3:16. The state where the Most High Yah is the king, is the only king, and his law is the only authority in the home. Let's read that again. First, Jacob, the women, guarding the law when the men forget, removing the reproach by seeking Yah's name, turning the hearts of the children back to the covenant, y'all. By doing this job, the house of Jacob, the women, bring the world back to the state it was in before the rule of Genesis 3:16. A state where the Most High Yah is the only king and his law is the only authority in the home. The only authority that should have been in the garden was Yah. And that's it. She should have been like, Yah said, I'm calling Yah right now, and I'm calling Yah right now. And then what would have happened? Lucifer would have ran his ass up out the garden. Because when you call the master of war, nobody can win. When you call the master of war for your battles, y'all, nobody can win but Yah. And she should have called on Yah. She should have called in his name. The Most High Yah says in Isaiah 52, my people know my name and what it means. The Most High Yah says in Joel, what is Joel 2? The people who call in my name will be saved. The Most High Yah says in Jeremiah 33:3, call in my name and it will be me who answer. So the answer, we always had the answer. We just didn't know the name. So if we call in the name, if we make Yah the authority of everything, of our house, and we go to him first, I told you we're not supposed to be worshiping at the feet of men, of no man. No man should be worshiping at the feet of, we should not be worshiping at the feet of men and nothing like that. We should not be doing that. You don't worship at the feet of men. You see, the Most High Yah said it was abomination in Ezekiel 8. When they were crying at the feet of a man, Tammuz. That's Nimrod's son, Tammuz, a.k.a. Jesus, a.k.a. JC, a.k.a. Yahushua, a.k.a. Yahawashai, a.k.a. What's the other word they call him? I don't care what you call him. You still worship him at the feet of man. And you're taking the authority away from Yah and you're giving it to man. I don't care how you spend it. I don't care what name you put on, where you put Horus or whatever name you put on it. You're taking the authority away from the Creator. And as for me in this house, right here, we serve the Most High Yah and him alone. Y'all need to get it together. The House of Jacob, a restoration study guide. Phase, scriptural references, the job and authority of the House of Jacob. The foundation, Exodus 9:19-3. Accepts the law first. The Most High Yah addresses the women first at Sinai because they are the educators who ensures the Torah continuity in the home. The education, Proverbs 31:1-2. Correcting the king as the son of her vows. The mother has the authority to discipline and teach the leaders of Israel to rule by Yah's laws. Example, Judges 5:7. Leading as a mother, Deborah, a mother of Israel, bypasses male hesitation to enact Yah's judgment and restore the peace of the land. And you also see that she said it'll be a woman that will have the victory. She also said that. And did it? And wasn't a woman that had the victory? Yes, it was. And the reproach, Isaiah 4:1-4. Seeking the name. The women move from human dependency to seeking Yah's name and canopy, having their filth washed away by his spirit. The new thing, Jeremiah 31:21 through 22. Courting the man back, a reversal of the curse. The woman takes the spiritual initiative to encompass the man and bring the nations back to the covenant. The sign, Exodus 31:13 through 17. The guardian of the Shabbat. Maintaining the eternal sign in the home, which what? Maintaining the eternal sign in the home, which declares the Most High Yah, not man, as the supreme creator and authority. The completion, Malachi 3:24. Turning the hearts, the final reconciliation of the family unit, returning the world to the days of old, the Sinai standard. Y'all, the key takeaway of this lesson, y'all, is overcoming Genesis 3:16. The journey of the house of Jacob is the journey of reclaiming direct access to the Most High Yah. While the rule of man was a result of the fall, the new thing in Jeremiah and the spirit of the burning in Isaiah removed the reproach by focusing on the fear of the Most High Yah, Proverbs 31:30. The women of Israel are restored to their original Sinai level status, holy, authoritative, and vital to the redemption of the nation. Now y'all finna find out a lie that they've been teaching us. Let's go. In the Stone Edition to knock the term Ezer Kenogdo. I hope I am saying this right. Ezer Kenegdo. Genesis 2:18 is the very first definition of the woman's role. While often translated as helpmeet, the Hebrew root reveals a power that is central to your vision of the house of Jacob as a spiritual authority. Ezer, power and protection. The word Ezer is never used in the Bible to describe an inferior or a servant. In fact, it is most frequently used to describe the Most High Yah himself in relation to man. Oh, y'all in trouble for lying. Okay, y'all gonna get y'all. First, Ezer, the power and protection. The word Ezer is never used in the Bible to describe an inferior or a servant. In fact, it is most frequently used to describe the Most High Yah himself in relation to man. Psalms 121, 1 through 2. I lift my eyes to the mountains. From where will my help, Ezer, come? My help, Ezer, is from the Most High Yah. Psalms 33 and 20. Our soul long for the Most High Yah. He is our help. Ezer knew, and our shield. The meaning, Ezer is a sustainer or a superior strength that intervenes when someone cannot save themselves. By calling the woman Ezer, the Most High Yah identify her as a rescuer or the spiritual shield of the home. So we're not a helpmate, we're a rescuer and a spiritual shield of the home. Let's keep going. Kenegdo, opposite as a mirror of truth. The word literally means as against him or matching him. The word literally means as against him or matching him. The Rashi commentary. Rashi on Genesis 2:18 famously says, if he is worthy, she's a helper. If he is not worthy, she's against him to fight him. The authority. This is the job you noted in Jeremiah 30:1-22. When the children of Israel, fall away from the law, the woman stands negdo opposite him, not to be rude, but to correct and court them back to the path of the Most High. She is the mirror of the law for the men, restoring the superior strength. The punishment in Genesis 3:16 suppressed the Ezer, the superior strength, under the rule of the man. But the new thing is the restoration of the Ezer. At Sinai, the Most High speaks to the Ezer, the house of Jacob, first, because she is the one with the At Sinai, the Most High speak to Israel, the house of Jacob, first, because she is the one with the strength to uphold the home. In Proverbs 31, she is called the woman of Chayel, valor, strength, which is the active manifestation of being an Ezer. In the restoration, the reproach is removed from the woman. The woman stops trying to please the man and returns to being the Ezer of the Most High. Yeah, let's read this again for the people in the back. For the Christians and the Muslims and all these other people who teach you to bow down and worship at the feet of men. I keep telling you, we ain't supposed to be worshiping at the feet of man. We're supposed to be worshiping Yah and him alone. At Sinai, the Most High Yah speaks to the Ezer, the house of Jacob, first, because she is the one with the strength to uphold the home. In Proverbs 31, she is called a woman of Chayel, valor and strength, which is the active manifestation of being an Ezer. In the restoration, the reproach is removed when the woman stops trying to please a man and return to being the Ezer, the strength of Yah. Comparison of authority. Term. Common perception. True Hebrew meaning, Stone edition. Term. Common perception. Ezer, a subordinate assistant. The true meaning, a rescue strength used for the Most High Yah and woman. Kegnoda, a submissive companion. A confrontational mirror used to keep the man on the path. Authority, derived from the man. And it no longer is derived from the man, it's derived directly from Yah, the creator at creation, derived directly from the Most High Yah at creation. Oh, y'all, these men gonna hate me. Woo, they gonna stone me for this. And the final connection. When the house of Jacob functioned as an Ezer, Kegdo, she is not just helping with chores. She is using her superior strength to ensure the children of Israel do not perish in their waywardness. She is the help that comes from the sanctuary to save the nation. She's the help that comes. Melissa was right. Melissa, you was right. You told me that the woman is the temple. The woman is the sanctuary. Wow. Let's keep going. 444, y'all. I see 444 right now before me. I just saw it up here on the timer. Let's go. Alyssa Israel was right. Says, I'm going to read it again. When the house of Jacob functions as the Ezer Kegdo, she is not just helping with chores. She is using her superior strength to ensure the children of Israel do not perish in their waywardness. She is the help that comes from the sanctuary to save the nations. In the Stone Edition, the Song of the Sea, Exodus 15, is the first national expression of praise after the Exodus. While Moses led the men, Miriam, the prophetess, steps forward to lead the house of Jacob, demonstrating the Ezer superior strength that sustains the nation's faith. Miriam, the prophetess, authority beyond the men. Miriam, the prophetess, the authority beyond the men. And Miriam, the prophetess, the sister of Aaron, took the timbrel in her hand, and all the women went out after her with timbrels with dance. The title she is called the prophetess Hanavia. Her authority is not derived from Moses or Aaron, but directly from her prophetic connection to the Most High Yah. The timing, according to the Rashish on Exodus 15:20, the women were so certain of Yahweh's salvation that they brought musical instruments out of Egypt. This is the house of Jacob exercising the superior strength of faith, believing in the miracle before it even happened. The Ezer role, sustaining the spirit. Miriam's leadership fulfills the Ezer role by providing the spiritual rescue the nation needed. Encouragement. While the men sang along the complex song of the past and future, Miriam led the women in a focused, high energy declaration. Verses 21. And Miriam answered them, singing to the Most High Yah, for he is highly exalted. The horse and its rider has had thrown into the sea. And the horse and its rider he has thrown into the sea. The mirror, Keg Nagdo, she acted as the mirror for the nation. By leading the dance, she shifted the focus from the fear of the Egyptian army to the exaltation of the Most High Yah. This is the job of the woman, to elevate the physical reality into a spiritual celebration. The new thing prefigured. In your study, Jeremiah 31:22, the woman encompassed the man at the Red Sea. The woman formed a circle, macho of dance. They encompassed the camp with joy and faith, creating a spiritual wall of protection, Azar, that the children of Israel, the men, could lean on. The results? This ensured that the sins of the youth complaining and wanted to return to Egypt were washed away by the spirit of praise. Miriam role versus the rule of man. Miriam shows that the house of Jacob has its own direct line to the Most High Yah. Yah is on the main line, tell him what you want. Yah is on the main line, tell him what you want. Yah is on the main line, tell him what you want. Just call him up and tell him what you want. Woo! Miriam showed that the house of Jacob has its own direct line to the Most High Yah. independent praise. She did not wait for the men to finish. She initiated the woman's own celebration, national recognition. Michael 6:4 confirms her status as a co-leader. I sent before you Moses, Aaron, and Miriam. The restoration. By leading the women, she restored the dignity of the daughters of Zion, proving they were not just wayward daughters, but sovereign worshipers. Action, the Azer strength, the restoration link, brought timbrels, prepared the faith before miracles, returning to the days of old at Sinai, led the dance, encompassed the camp with joy, the new thing of Jeremiah 31 and 22. Prophesied, spoke Yah's word directly, removing the rule of man. Genesis 3:16. Would you like to explore the well of Miriam? Yes. In the stone edition, not the well of Miriam. Beber Miriam is a physical manifestation of a spiritual authority of the house of Jacob. Y'all ever realize that the word mirage is talking about Miriam? The word mirage is talking about Miriam. Miriam, mirage. It's a mirage. It's a Miriam. Did y'all hear that together? According to the sages, specifically in the stone edition of the well of Miriam, the Beber Miriam is a physical manifestation of the spiritual authority of the house of Jacob. According to the sages, specifically the Raj, the numbers on Numbers 20 and 2, the miraculous well that followed the Israelites for 40 years existed solely in the merit of Miriam. Let me read that again. According to the sages, specifically in the Rashi on Numbers 20 and 2, the miraculous well that followed the Israelites for 40 years existed solely in the merit of Miriam. And y'all know when she died, that well disappeared. The source of life and water and Torah. In the Hebrew, though, water is the primary symbol of the Torah. Didn't I tell y'all that? That water is the primary source of the law? Isaiah 55 and 1. So when the Most High Yah is feeding you bad water or wormwood, he's giving you not the Torah. The job by the well began being tied to Miriam. The Most High Yah shows that the life of the nation flows through the house of Jacob. Without the woman's merit, the children of Israel, the men will have perished in the desert. The authority. This mirrors Exodus 19 and 3, where the women are the first recipients of the word. The well proves that they are also carriers of the word, providing the living water, which is the law. And I told y'all this. This sustains the people's ability to learn and survive. Miriam, well, and the new thing in Jeremiah 31 and 22. The well was a rolling rock that traveled with the camp. When they encamped, it would do what? When they encamped, it would settle. The water, and the well was a rolling rock that traveled with the camp. And when they encamped, it would settle. And then the leaders would sing to it, encompass the camp. The water from the well would branch out into rivers that encompassed the tents of each tribe. The restoration. Just as the new thing says the woman shall encompass the man. Miriam's marriage literally encompassed the entire nation with life-giving water. She surrounded the wayward sons with the nourishment they needed to return to Yah's laws. The reproach removed by the well. Numbers 20. Immediately after Miriam dies, the water stops. The lesson: the men realized they had no life or Torah knowledge without the presence and the merit of the house of Jacob. The rule of man: when the men tried to rule or lead without the spiritual merit of the woman after her death, they fell into anger, Moses hitting the rock, and judgment. This provided the house of Jacob is the cooling, stabilizing force that kept the children of Israel, the men, from the spirit of burning judgment. Summary of the symbolism. Feature of the well: spiritual meaning, the job, the restoration link, living water, Torah knowledge, wisdom. The house of Jacob as the primary educator followed the camp. Constant spiritual support. The Ezer, superior strength, protecting the nation. Singing to the well, recognizing the source, removing the reproach, and honoring Yah's way, y'all. Honoring Yah's way. Honoring Yah's authority. The ultimate conclusion of your study: you have traced the house of Jacob from the foundation at Sinai to the new thing in Jeremiah. Through the strength of the women of valor and the leadership of Miriam and Deborah, the job is to be the well, the source of Torah, the educators of kings, and the initiator of the return to the land. The reward is the canopy, returning to the days of old, where Yah's glory is the only covering we needed. The stone edition Tanakh. The Song of the Well, Numbers 21:17-18, marks a pivotal moment where the princes of Israel, the men, finally harmonized with the spiritual legacy of the house of Jacob, Miriam, the acknowledgement of the men. Then Israel sang this song: Spring up, O well, sing to it, a well dug by princes, carved out by the noble of the people, with the lawgiver's staff. And the job completed. And in Exodus 15, Miriam led the women and sung. Here in Numbers 21, the men follow her lead. And the children of Israel are finally courted back to the same level of faith that Miriam displayed at the Red Sea, singing to the source. By commanding the well to spring up, the men acknowledged that their survival depended on the living water, the Torah, and that was maintained through the merit of the house of Jacob, the lawgiver's staff, and the new thing. The verses mentioned the well was carved out with the lawgiver's staffs, the machoka, the authority the staff represents, the Torah knowledge you identified as the woman's job, the restoration, while the princes held the staffs, the water only flowed because they aligned themselves with the well of Miriam. This is Jeremiah 31:22, the new thing in action. The men are now encompassed by the spiritual reality that women established, and they are thriving because of remove of reproach. And it says in the Song of the Well, there is no rule of man over woman. Instead, there is a unified celebration of Yah's provision. I told you we need to unify as a family. The reversal: the wayward daughters have returned to their cities, their spiritual position, and the men have encouraged the women woman is Ezra's pure strength to make the desert bloom. The result, the filth of the previous rebellion is washed away by this new pure watering of the covenant. Summary: the event, the house of Jacob roll, the children of Israel, the men respond. Sinai receives the word first. The men accepts the word through her. Desert maintains the well married. Men drinks and survives by her merit. The song initiate the praise of Miriam. Men joins the praise the princess. The return, the courts the men back to the law. Men acknowledges Yah's authority in the home. Final vision. By looking at the stone edition not through this lenses, we see that the house of Jacob is the engine of redemption. When she is restored to her days of old authority, the well springs up, the reproach is removed, and the entire nation is finally ready to enter the promised land under the canopy of Yah. Would you like me to compile a list of action steps based on these verses for the house of Jacob can continue to court men back to the laws? Yes, I would like that. This will be in the next video. Our praises to the Most High Yah and Him alone. Hallelujah.